Good morning. Welcome. Welcome to the weirdest welcome event we've ever done in the history of the Department of Economics at the University of Reading. I'm joining you from my kitchen. You're probably, you could be anywhere. It's the weirdest welcome event we've ever done. And we've got quite a bit of history too. We were formed as a department in 1964. The year match the day began, if you're a football fan. Over 50 years of history. I'm James Reade. I'm the head of the Department of Economics. What that means formally is that I'm the line manager for all of the lectures that you're going to see over your time here with us at the University of Reading. What it means more broadly is that I'm responsible for what goes on in our department. One of the things I take most seriously about our department is that it's ours, not my department. It doesn't belong to any single person. And it's not defined by any particular type of person either. It's our department. So who are we? Well, we're 30 members of staff. We're usually around 400 or so undergraduate students, about 50 or so postgraduate students, masters courses, and about 30 PhD students. We're from all parts of the UK. I've always enjoyed the fact that a strong theme in terms of staff members here is the northwest of England. A number of us hail from the northwest of England, where I come from. But we're also from all around the UK and all around the world too. We've got staff members from Spain, Italy, the USA, Switzerland, China, France, South Korea, Bulgaria, Nigeria, and Vietnam. Our students come from an even broader collection of countries, and we're delighted about this. We have a joint program with a big university in Nanjing, China, which provides travel and study opportunities you'll hear about in good time. And being international gives us a richness beyond imagination. We're delighted to enjoy a rich community, and it's rich in so many than the way that we use it, perhaps most commonly associated with economics. Well done for it, by the way. Not everybody makes the cut. Not everybody gets in. Well done to all of you for getting in. Give yourselves a pat on the back. Don't wish to sound cheeky, but no one else can give you a pat on the back at the moment. Cheesy, I should say, rather than cheeky. So give yourselves a pat on the back for getting in. It's a big achievement. And these are all huge informative steps in the process of making you, you. Helping you to shape what your identity is. And that's something that you get to decide, not anybody else. So don't let anybody else try and define who you are. You get to make those choices. Now, you can work out roughly how old I am if I tell you that 21 years ago this autumn, I was starting my undergraduate degree. When I went to university, I left Manchester with a thick, fairly unintelligible, no, totally unintelligible Mancunian accent. I arrived, most people could understand a word of what I was saying. So I spent 3 years trying to talk more slowly and more clearly. I'm sure that I made some progress, but then I went to university, went to a different university to do a master's degree, and 90% of my classmates were students from outside the UK. And again, they couldn't understand a single word of what I said. But that process of learning how to talk to folk from very different places than you, even different places within your own country, it should be said, I really think is about the most important thing we'll ever do. And I hope that will equip you while you're here along that way, will equip you to communicate in economics. We in the economics department do work with our Department of Applied Linguistics here at the university to work on communication, how we communicate as economists, complex ideas in ways that are accessible. Communication is just as important, if not more, than all the degrees and qualifications you can collect. So we're a rich department in so many ways, and you're going to meet many of us. In the next few weeks, I'll introduce many of our staff members in the emails I send to you each week. You'll see some of them in lectures, recorded for the time being, sadly, And that's why I'm going to be introducing them to you via emails in this unusual year, given you're not going to see so much of us face to face, sadly. Now, what are we? We're an academic department, a university department, and that means that we're a collection of researchers first and foremost, keen, inquisitive minds, seeking to learn more about our chosen field of interest, economics. So we already have a lot in common with you, since you also chose economics. Economics, the study of inputs and outcomes. Why do decisions about those scarce inputs lead to the range of different outcomes that we observe in the real world? And we're researchers at the forefront of global research into economics. Our staff have over 44 different distinct research outputs in top international journals and publishing houses in this calendar year alone. That's more than one output per week. And we're experts in all sorts of areas. Don't just take our word for it. Challenge us, ask us questions. We love to think about and talk about our areas of interest. We love to encourage you to get involved too. Do you want to know a bit more about bots and elections? Perhaps ahead of the US election, perhaps thinking back to previous elections here in the UK and referendums. If so, talk to Topam, member of our staff faculty, who's an expert on social media and its interaction with the economics sphere. Do you want to know anything, literally anything, about railways in the last 200 years here in the UK? Well, if so, talk to our expert in economic history, Professor Mark Casson. If you're interested in railways around the world, then you can talk to Dr. Andrew Primer. Intrigued by what we can learn about experiments about our behaviour? Perhaps you read Thinking Fast and Slow over the summer, and if you did, great choice. Then if so, talk to Ju-Young Jung, talk to Professor Marina Del Giusta, Dr. Stephen Bosworth, or Dr. Stephen Castoriano, and get their views on experiments. Are you bothered about inequality in the job market? Sure you are. Then we have Professor Gianni Rossu, Sarah Jewell, Carl Singleton, and Professor Simonetta Longi, all experts on the labour market and discrimination therein. And if you're interested, troubled, or motivated other kinds of ways by the Black Lives Matter movement, then Neha Hui is the person you should talk to, as well as our head of school, Professor Uma Kampambati. Neha organised a conference on Friday last week on unfree labour. What exactly did the British Empire do when it came to slavery? And what happened once slavery was abolished? And it'll be well worth your time looking up something called indentured labour or asking Neha about it. Does the position of developing countries bother you? How they're doing relative to the rest of us? Well, if so, talk to Professor Uma Kampambati again, Doctors Sam Rawling, Stefania Lovo, or Sophie Klopp. And if macroeconomics is your thing, how should policy be responding to the very real threats of COVID-19? Then talk with Alec Mihailov, Mark Guzman, or Hussein Hassan. And if the financial side of things concerns you, then talk to Minyan Zhu or Fanya Zhu. Finally, you may wonder about the very earliest economics, say the economics of the Roman Empire. And if so, Ken Dark's your man, Professor Ken Dark, this is, our resident archaeologist. He's been on primetime TV in the US, he's been interviewed in many, many countries, and he's done lots of research on the birthplace of Jesus. 2015, he was Person of the Day in Russia, and he's also our school director of academic tutoring, so you'll hear from him shortly if you haven't heard from him already. Our research is making a difference in many of the places that matter most. But equally, sometimes our research gets us to places we don't really expect. At this point, I'm going to share my slideshow. And that picture there, well, it's a picture of me at the BBC, being recorded in Salford at Media City to be on BBC's Football Focus, because Dr. Carl Singleton and I were invited to submit our forecasts of football matches to compete with the BBC's resident expert, former Liverpool and Republic of Ireland footballer Mark Lawrenson. We actually did better than him. Forecasting is a huge part of what we do in economics, and we don't always do it that well. But sport is full of forecasts. More broadly, it's a significant part of economic activity, of my own research, and of the research of many around us at the University of Reading. As an example of how we've adapted to COVID-19, since March the 27th, we've been running online sport economics seminars. That is, we've been meeting online, and here you can see an example of a poster from a recent talk, Friday 28th of August, Sam Hoey from the Erasmus School of Economics in Rotterdam, presenting his research to researchers all around the world. We have people viewing it from Japan across to California. The Australians and New Zealanders have to listen in the next day on YouTube. You can find all these talks on YouTube, by the way, and if you want to find a link, let me know, or you can try Googling Reading Online Sport Economics Seminars. 3 members of our department, Professor Uma Kampambati, who's just spoken, myself with a PhD student of ours, Matt Yeo, have published in the very recently created journal COVID Economics, recent and timely, vetted and real-time papers. Uma published work comparing the outcomes for COVID-19 in countries with female leaders and male leaders. You can rest assured that our School of Politics, Economics and International Relations is in great hands, because the countries that had female leaders did better, and Uma is our head of school. So the school is in safe hands as we adapt to COVID-19 and continue to adapt to it. My own work with PhD student Matt Yeo and Matt Ulczak from Aston University looked at the spread of COVID-19 in April based on where football matches took place in March and even February. Sadly, for those of us that want to get back to football matches and sporting events in the flesh, music concerts, etc., the results suggested that even sparsely attended matches did contribute to the spread of the virus. Throughout the summer, we ran an online social media campaign on Twitter and Facebook, hitting our department's research successes, which I've already alluded to. Here you can see a post about Professor Marina Del Giusto, where you're going to see this term for microeconomics, EC113, and Dr. Stephen Bosworth, who did some early work in the pandemic surveying households around the world about how they adapted to family life in lockdown. We're a department at the forefront of learning about economics, learning about the decisions that are being made day by day, minute by minute, about scarce resources with limited information, and how those decisions reflect outcomes. And life in 2020 has been at high speed, hasn't it? Seemingly endless new information, new rules, new guidelines to deal with, and new scandals all the time. And it's bound to continue, probably even today. You can rest assured you're in safe hands with us. We've been adapting to how we work due to COVID-19. We've been putting things online. We've been interacting online for 6 months now. And we've been contributing to the big debates that matter about how COVID-19 is affecting us. All this has been recognised by the Royal Economic Society. For the 3 years that you're going to be with us, we'll be having the Royal Economic Society's annual public lecture taking place in Reading. This is a big event with a top economist speaking, and this coming year it will be Diane Coyle, Professor Diane Coyle, a renowned economist from the University of Cambridge, who's contributed to the public policy debates over the years and in very prominent ways, member of the BBC's Trust as well over the years. And you'll have a chance to be there, and the next 2 after that too. These are exciting times, and these are big moments in your lives too. The memories that you form in these coming weeks will stick with you for the rest of your lives. Trust me, mine do. And these moments are happening at the most unfortunate time imaginable too. It goes without saying that we're living through something that none of us have ever experienced, even old people like me. This coming year is going to be like none we've ever experienced before. That's bad, but it's also good. One of the most important life skills that we want to equip you with while you're with us, if we can, is resilience. That defiant spirit that adapts to what life throws at it. I think it's possible that some people are fortunate enough to be born with that resilience, but I'm not that convinced about it. I do think it's something that you build up, something that you acquire through the choices that you make. And a lot of those choices you'll make over the next 3 years with us. Choices about who to hang out with, when to hang out with them, how to do that. Choices about how much work to do, where to do it, and when to do it. I'm really pleased that our university offers loads of resources for you as you start on this big journey in your life, and that our school also offers you support in that too. Take part in the sessions that we put on about well-being, about student minds, and talk with us all the time, please. You're going to meet your academic tutors this week, a point of contact with you, a member of staff that you can go and talk to. They are there for you, so please do make use of them. Ask them questions. We'll find out about the student support centres as well and all the resources that they have. There's loads of stuff out there to help. Because while you'll hopefully have an absolutely amazing time with us and never need to think about these things, there is a good chance that you won't too. I personally struggled quite a bit in my time at university. It's a big time of change. It's a time of insecurity potentially and feeling vulnerable, new place, new routines. And it's a time of a global pandemic as well to add to the mixer. So you shouldn't feel any shame in asking for help, in asking for questions and admitting that you're not quite there if it just so happens that sadly you're not. It's nothing to be ashamed of. It's a big part of this big journey in your lives. And we're privileged to be a part of that with you. And of course, you won't really know what normal is since you weren't with us last year, but we do hope that we'll soon be able to think about a post-COVID-19 world soon, a time when we can meet in public spaces. We can give lectures in our lecture halls, some of which are really actually quite nice. We can meet you in our offices, and you can use the study spaces all around on campus. We're looking forward to a time when there are big, but while these things are here, when we're still providing you with the best university degree you can get, you're being taught by a department that, in spite of COVID-19 wreaking havoc over the last academic year, improved our national student survey score significantly. So get involved, join us, be part of our community. It'll involve quite a few online events at first, but some in-person ones. Please keep a really close eye on the information that you get, and it might feel like overload. And if it does, stop, pause, take a moment and get in touch with us. Ask your question. We're happy to help you out. Join us and be part of our community. Community means something a bit different this year with COVID-19, and it does come with responsibilities. Please do think about them. Please do wear face coverings in enclosed spaces like lecture theatres, classrooms. None of us wants to be wearing them. They aren't pleasant, especially when the weather's still warm. But they're a big part of how we respond to COVID-19, and a big part of us hopefully being able to get past these times when the virus continues to disrupt so much of what we do. Before I hand over, in your welcome events, you'll get information from all sorts of other members of staff. Please look out for that information on other recordings, information on academic tutoring, for example, and other Welcome Week events. But I'm really looking forward to meeting you all. I'm really looking forward to being part of this really big journey in your lives, and I'm delighted that you've chosen to come and join us.